All right. So I'm filming in a different location today. I'm in my living room and still looking to put those up. I used to I was an amateur boxer for about 10 years. I was pretty good, but got things happen. And it's the glory days. But anyways, this post is going to be about a process of, I guess, how I usually approach things with music, and the process of what I'm doing now. Usually I write the lyrics and have an idea of what it sounds like, and I take all those lyrics and put them through AI, and I get the sound until I get the sound that I hear in my head, and then I take everything and I do it myself. It's my dog Maggie, right here. Um, so yeah, I don't want people to think that I'm just using AI and just point blank just putting everything in there, because that's not the case. I do use AI as a tool, and it has helped me a lot actually. If you approach it that way, and you write your own songs and you use it for inspiration for what you want it to sound like, and then you go find everything in a DAW and the plugins and so on and so forth. Okay, so I say all that to say that this process is a lot different for this song because it's a classic song, and so I want to do a cover of it, and I want to do it justice. So and I'm not worried about the pitches, so to speak, but it has a lot of intricate harmony, like a lot of, I guess, what you would say complex harmonies. The song is by a group called New Edition, and it's called Can You Stand the Rain? Not Missy Elliott, I Can't Stand the Rain. It's okay, but this is one of the last vestiges of R&B. Sorry, my dog's been itching a lot lately. Anyways, where was I? Oh, like I said, some of the last vestiges of actual R&B. I'd say the early 2000s is really when R&B was last breath. People can say all they want, about R&B now, and you can classify things as R&B, but I'm sure there's a lot of independent artists out there. I'm not saying there's zero R&B left at all, anywhere. I'm just saying, in the mainstream wise, with these major corporations or major record labels, which are basically corporations. But yes, this process is very, very different because usually I really focus on the instruments and just go and put them in, and it's, oh, that sounds good there, and this is good, and the arrangement seems to go well, and I have to rearrange some things. But for this, because I don't know a whole lot about harmonies in the context of this song, like 4 and 5 part harmonies, and you got your lead, your high mid, your mid, your high mid, mid lead, and then you got your low, and then your lead mid, and just different parts, and I'm trying to remember them all, but I was really knee deep in looking at all the different parts yesterday, so I have a pretty good idea of what notes to sing, and that's the other thing. What notes is each part of the harmony doing? Because you can't all sing the same notes. And so what I've found out is that the notes they sing are according to the chord, which I should have known, but anyways, you learn something every day. and the notes that are sung are based on each singer's range. And so I'm figuring that out too, slowly but surely. And then you have the piano, which is my main instrument. I can I'm decent at guitar, and I've learned to play the bass too, because bass is the exact same thing as guitar for the most part, except it has 4 strings. But those 4 strings are the same exact lower 4 strings of the guitar. So I picked up a bass. But yes, I digress. So, the piano wasn't that bad. I was up pretty late last night, getting some of the arrangement together, and some like the melodies, and finding, I'm learning. I'm taking Ableton this quarter, but I've been taking Logic since I started, which is this past July. So I'm fairly familiar with Logic and how to maneuver around there. So I found some really good plugins in Alchemy and things. So, but choosing the exact right instruments, right? That's going to sound as close as possible to the original, and then the arrangement of all of that, because this isn't my song. I'm doing a cover, and especially for this song, it's just a wonderful song, beautiful song, and it's timeless, transcendent. If you've never heard it, you should listen to it. New edition, Can You Stand the Rain? Just unbelievable vocals. The harmony is awesome. And I remember all of this because I'm almost 50. So, that song came out in 1988, which I was thinking like 10 or 11 at the time. And I still remember, I'd say by the time I was a freshman, sophomore in high school, 93, 94, 95, that song was still popular. People were still listening to it, maybe not quite as much as when it first came out, but I mean, people knew about that song. And back then, it was a great song still. To this day, classic R&B where, they seventh chords and all of these things. And I was able to find the a cappella version of that song, and it's really good. These all the singers are. You got Johnny Gill. I think it's Ralph Tresvant, and if you're listening to this and younger, you might not know who these guys are, but they're legends. I mean, well, I would say legends in modern times, not like Sam Cooke or Otis Redding or Jackie Wilson or Wilson Pickett or anybody, but they're up there. And like I said, it's a really because it's something I remember and from a time frame that I don't know, it's hard to explain. That's one of those times that you just can't recreate. You just can't recreate, and all the music was so good and new at the same time, and the singers were awesome. And, you got Belle Biv DeVoe, and I didn't realize they could sing that well. They were really good. And then you have, I think it's Bobby Brown. Was he Bobby Brown in it? Yeah, I think so. I think he was in it at one point before they broke up, and they I think they had a reunion back in the early 2000s or something like that. And they had a couple good songs then too. So yes, that is a long-winded explanation of the process and how I'm approaching this. So instead of focusing more on just the instruments and everything, because usually it's, okay, you got your drums, piano, guitar, your main instruments, and then of course your vocals, whatever. But up until now, I haven't had to worry about arrangement in context of a harmony, much less a 4-part harmony. So, like I said, I'm not worried about the pitches. I can hit all the pitches of each singer. And I'm not saying I could sing as well as those guys, so I just, want to throw that out there too. But yes, that is the process I'm working on. And I'm still trying to balance that with the homework and everything, because it's such a good song. And I was up way too late last night trying to work on it. But it's going to get done eventually, and it'll be good. All right. Till next time.